Hello, guys. Welcome to Reddit Uncovered. Hope you all are good, and before we jump to today's stories, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below. Also, let me know in the comments on which stories you guys want me to work, and the next video will be on that. Let's get started. Okay, guys, this is the first story of the day, and the title says, Am I the asshole for telling my dad he dug his own grave? I, 28F, have always sort of had a difficult relationship with my dad, 60M. It's not that he wasn't physically present or abusive or anything, he just heavily favored my older brother Chris, 30M, over me and my sister Diana, 25F. He went to Chris's events, talked about Chris all the time. Chris kind of took priority in the house. It's not that he doesn't love me and Diana, it's just that we're not Chris. Like, if Diana or I had an event, he would come and participate, as long as it didn't conflict with Chris's stuff. The recent conflict starts with the fact that Dad and Chris both wanted to be in this very niche job field when they were younger, and both their opportunities fell through. They now work nice jobs in other fields. Diana got a job in the niche field and is really good at it from what I can tell. It's not the job Chris and Dad wanted, but it is adjacent. We're all super proud of Diana. It's what she's wanted to do for years, and I know she'll be great at it. A couple weeks ago, Dad and I had this dumb argument. I can't even remember what it was about. He said something along the lines of, You and Diana only talk to me when you need something. Diana won't even talk about her job with me. And this was probably a dick move. I asked what he expected when he ignored me and Diana our whole lives in favor of Chris. He asked what I meant, and I told him he only wants to know what Diana's doing now, because she achieved what he and Chris didn't. I work in a completely different field, and he never asked about my job. I said he had a chance to be an attentive parent, and he didn't, so now Diana doesn't talk to him much. He dug his own grave. We've been kind of distant ever since, and to my knowledge, he stopped asking Diana about stuff. Like, everything I said was true, but now I'm wondering if I should have said it. Well, that's so sad to read this, and what you and your sister have experienced. I'd say not the asshole technically, but that grave part was a bit harsh. I know that parents do favorism like being attached to one child or loving one more than the other, and then it reflects in their actions too, like the above story, and I am totally against it. But what I feel like the part that makes it even worse is when you don't speak it out and try to keep things inside you for a long, long time. And then one day it just explodes all of a sudden, and then things turn out to be really harsh and saddening. I hope your dad realizes his mistake and talk it out with you and your sister, because this sort of treatment don't just ruin their relation with the children, but also it affects the relation of the siblings. That's what I think, and as always, you guys can share your opinions in the comment section below, and I'll move to the next story. Am I the asshole for secretly buying extra food for my niece because her brothers eat everything first? My brother's family has been staying with me and my wife for around 6 months while they save money after moving from another state. It's been okay, and we get along pretty well. They have 3 kids, 2 boys, and 1 girl. The boys are both athletes, track and basketball, and they eat a ton. They're teenagers and constantly hungry. Whenever food is made, they usually go back for multiple servings, and they demolish snacks really quickly. Something I started noticing, though, was that their daughter, who I believe is 14, would regularly complain that there was barely anything left for her by the time she got to it. I also noticed my brother and his wife usually gave the boys noticeably bigger portions during meals. I figured it was just maybe because the boys are bigger and more active, but I eventually asked my brother about it because it seemed kinda excessive. He told me the boys need the calories because they're athletes and still growing, while his daughter doesn't really do sports and sits around most of the day. He also said he doesn't want her getting overweight, as she isn't physically active much outside of normal school activities. I found what my brother said to be very strange, maybe even emotionally damaging to their daughter with the way they handle food. So after that happened, I started buying some extra snacks and drinks and keeping them in the main part of the house. Their family mostly stays in the guest area of the house that has its own kitchen. I quietly told my niece she could help herself whenever she wanted, so she wouldn't feel like she had to compete with her brothers for food. My brother found out about this and completely lost it. He accused me of making him look like some terrible parent who was starving his daughter. He said she already gets 3 large meals a day that his wife cooks and that they do buy her snacks, but she doesn't need to pig out on them. He also said if I was going to buy extra food for one of his kids, I should be letting the boys have access to it too. I told him the entire reason I did it was because the boys already eat most of everything in the house, and his daughter was the only one consistently being left out. Am I the asshole? I'm not really sure if I should have gotten involved. That's the straight NTA from my side. Your brother is treating her daughter way too badly, like she's just 14. And if you are giving that much attention to your son's food and calories, then you should treat your daughter the same way too. Not like she's going to get overweight overnight and she's still a teenager. She needs all the things as your sons do. That's honestly very heartbreaking. And I am genuinely happy to read that you took a step for your niece. And I would say that please take care of her as much as you can, as I don't see any signs of her dad doing it for her. And the thing that made it even worse is that he lost it when he found out. Instead of saying a thanks to you and appreciating your effort, he started telling you off. What an asshole. If he's genuinely willing her daughter to not to get overweight, he should control how much junk food is entering the house, not by controlling how much she eats. And this is the growing age, so she does need the food like his sons do. I am honestly very surprised by his mindset. Rest, I'll leave that on you guys. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll move to the next one. And also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Am I the asshole for calling my niece 7F mean and pissing off my sister-in-law 35F? This happened a couple weeks ago, and I can't stop thinking about it / wondering if I was in the wrong. I, 34F, was out to an early dinner with my entire family to celebrate my mom's birthday. We brought my daughter, 6 months, with us, and I was holding her sitting next to my mom. My niece is a bit entitled, is never really told no. When we first sat down, she threw a fit that she wasn't allowed to sit next to my daughter, but given that it was literally my mom's birthday, I ignored it. My brother, 38M, and sister-in-law, 35F, handled it by saying she could just stand between us as much as she wanted to be by the baby. I ended up letting my mom hold my baby a bunch at her request, and my niece, who was sitting on the other side of her, basically was laying on top of her, petting my daughter, holding her hand, etc. It was fine. Dinner took significantly longer than I anticipated, so it was nearing my daughter's bedtime, and she was starting to get a little fussy. I changed her and had her a bottle, but she was still a little whiny and extra wiggly. You know how babies can be? I was mostly holding her so that if she got loud, I could take her out of the restaurant. By this time, my niece had kicked my mom out of her seat when my mom got up to use the bathroom, and she took it to sit next to my daughter. My mom was mildly annoyed, but let it go. At this point, my mom was now holding my daughter again because she loves soaking up as many baby snuggles as possible. My niece told her she wanted to hold the baby. My mom said she had to ask me. My niece didn't like that because she doesn't like when she doesn't immediately get her way. She gave her a dirty look, but turned toward me. My niece asked if she could hold my daughter by herself, and I said no because she was fussy and kept throwing her head back. And given we were at a table and my niece is small herself, I wasn't comfortable with that. My niece is not used to hearing the word no, so she gave me a dirty look and stormed off. I knew what was happening. She was going to tell on me for being mean. I watched her walk over to my brother and tell him I was being mean, and when he asked why she didn't give him a reason. Instead, she waited and then told him she wanted to hold my daughter. My brother, not knowing any of the things that went down, asked my mom, who was holding her, if he could hold the baby. My mom didn't realize that my niece had gone to him, so she hands him my daughter, and the looks at me as she watches him start to hand my daughter over to my niece. I almost let her just hold the baby. But right as he was about to put her on my niece's lap, she looked up at me and gave me this, "Look, I got my way" smirk, and I changed my mind. I stopped my brother. He said, "Oh, is she not allowed to hold her right now?" And I said not by herself. Well, all hell broke loose. My niece lost it, crying, throwing a temper tantrum, turning to her mom, who I could hear say she would let her hold the baby in a moment. I doubled down. I said absolutely not. She could hold her, but not by herself. It got so bad they basically had to take my niece outside. After my sister-in-law and niece left the table, my brother said he didn't think my baby was the fussy, wiggly, and that my niece probably would have been fine to hold her. I told him I probably would have let her if she hadn't given me that smirk and tried to go behind my back to her way. Then I said, niece forgets that I was the original mean little girl, so her tactics aren't going to work on me. He didn't seem to love that comment. I stand by it. When she doesn't get her way, she's mean as heck. And when it comes to what I say regarding my own daughter, I definitely won't be backing down. My brother said my sister in law heard the comment and was pretty irritated by it because calling niece mean was uncalled for, and I could have just let her hold the baby. Firstly, I'll answer your question, which is not the asshole at all. Now, here are multiple things to note, and first and most important is that no baby of your niece age is able to hold a baby by herself or himself unless they are sitting on the floor with proper matting or in the bed, because babies of that age requires too much care, and in that age where their body parts and muscles are just starting to grow. One tiny mistake or one bad decision can cause someone a big ass problem for the rest of the life. So, in my opinion, you did the very right thing by saying a straight no and taking a stand on that. But what you didn't do is you should have your brother sit down with you and tell him all the things. And that includes the behavior of his daughter as well. You know, around 3 years ago when my nephew was born, and the moment I held him for the very first time, I first sat on the bench and then held him. And even then, I felt like my body was shivering, and it requires too much care, and you need to be very present minded. Like, what if the move's too quickly and someone of your niece age couldn't manage to handle it and drop her on the floor or something? God forbid. That's my take on it, and you guys can share your opinions with me in the comment section below. All right, guys, this is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit the like and subscribe button below. It really means a lot to me. Also, feel free to share your opinions in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.